You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hello and welcome to the Pace Radio Show's 2022 Year in Review Part 2. We are live and coming to you from the Pace Radio Network's Facebook pages, YouTube channel, Twitter, and CBG TV and Boxcast. Well, Tamara, we're off to a good start.
Not really. First of all, I really need to get that picture changed on our opening because that doesn't look like me anymore. I'm looking at that person going, who the hell is that?
Send me a new one. Send me a new one and I'll get that updated.
I will. Yeah, because I've been looking at that going, who is that person? So, yeah, I'm on days off. So, of course, I'm putzing around in the kitchen and forgot my attention deficit. Get out of town and just forget about what you're doing. But at least I got dinner before the show started and the kids being fed, so.
Yeah, you made it.
And we have no guests waiting on me, so I did. Well, like I said, if you wouldn't have banged me, and I'm looking for my phone to text Haven to tell him that dinner's ready.
Right.
And it's like, oh yeah, shit, it's 6 o'clock.
Your routine is all different now. Your routine has changed, but you're here. You made it. I got us on the screen. We're ready to go.
I have to figure out which part of the screen. There we are. Well, my phone's like not. Yeah.
So, did you see the picture I posted?
I seen that. I asked for it at my local store too, and you know what the worst part about it is? Everything from BC heads to Ontario first. Our BC LCB hasn't even accepted those into our BC control board. So I asked my local store if I could get one, and I was told they didn't have them. Then I got a hold of Sandra and said, hey, like, where are these? Like, can I get one? Like, what stores are you guys putting them in? She goes, you have to ask your store to request them, and BC hasn't accepted them yet. So everybody get a hold of the LCB or the BC LCB. And
I'll tell you what. I know a store that's got one. As far as I know, unless they sold them already, I'll go get one, and I'll just send it to you. I'll just mail it to you.
Yeah, I'll pay for it. I'll send you the cash. Yeah, but yeah, I'd love that because, like I said, I'd love to try one.
Yeah. I'll write a note down here.
That's easy peasy then, yeah.
Pick you up
the other thing I talked to Sandra about too is bringing their nutrients. Yeah, bringing their nutrients into the place that I'm going to be working at. And I was told when I was hired that I can revamp all their nutrient systems. So I'm going to bring Remo's nutrients to Cranbrook. Because we had it here, like, for sponsorship for the cup, right? And a lot of people have gotten it, but you have to do mail order, get it mailed, and it's heavy. Those supercharged kits are not light.
Yeah, I saw a picture of the 420 Cup promo poster of it this morning on TV. It had it was on Lifted Mornings. It had a picture of Remo on there. So. But make sure that you've got company when you get this. All right. Just saying.
You know what? I was in Montreal with them, and Remo can roll a joint, a 2-gram joint, in like 30 seconds or less, like on the run. So we were leaving the Montreal Convention Center after the Liberal Convention in 2014. It was Late Festival in Montreal in February at the same time, right? And we went to go through to get into, because at booze stands where you could go get Amarillo and hot chocolate and then music and all kinds of stuff. But he was carrying his pack through the underground, right? So he quickly stopped and rolled a big gagger, and we're walking. And then security wanted to look in his bag. He's like, you ain't looking in my damn bag. Like, you're not looking in my bag. But they wanted to check his bag out. And he's like, no.
Right.
He just kept
Yeah.
walking me and Sandra like, doo, 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 doo.
Well, when
So a lot
when
of
I
fun.
saw
I've
it,
had big,
when I saw it, and I saw that it was a 2 gram joint, I thought, well, geez, like his joints are normally bigger than that, right? But when you read the information on the container, because it's infused with kif and diamonds, they say it's equivalent to 8 grams, which is closer to a
oh
Remo
yeah,
joint that I. So
yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah,
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 I'll
yeah.
pick
No,
you
like I
one
said,
up.
they're like, yeah, and like I said, then I can.
Oh, lost Tamara. Well, she must have new phone. I'm gonna say probably a new phone, and because it happened last week. Here she comes. You're
Yeah,
back.
the stupid. Oh yeah, because I want to set this phone so I don't have to be holding it in my hand and it's charging. And like I said, I'm just off kilter a bit, but I'm trying to get it set up so that I'm not. If I touch the wrong thing, there. Okay, that's better.
There
If I
you
touch
go.
the wrong
There
thing,
you
then
go.
it's gonna go down. This way, I don't have the
Yeah.
dogs and I've got room. My hands are free. So yeah, but yeah, no, that'd be
Right.
terrific, Al. Because like I said, I asked at my local store and
Yeah. No. Yeah.
they don't have.
Because I know that she said. I know when Sandra first posted it, and I saw it on LinkedIn. She said it was available. It had been approved for the OCS, so that's when I went looking for it, and it was finally the third store that I went to. The first one wouldn't order it in. The second one didn't offer. And I didn't ask. They tried to sell me one that they already had in stock of a different thing. And I said, no, no. And then the last one offered to order me in one. And it looked like they had to get a box, I think, because they said they ordered a box. I just thought they were going to bring one in, but he said he ordered a
Oh yeah,
box. And I'll tell
yeah,
you,
yeah. You probably have to. Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a minute. Like I said, I'm super disappointed to hear, but I got this cartridge too. It's from Prairie Brothers. It's out of Alberta.
Yeah.
Not too bad. So, like I said, that's where I was seeing too. Like a lot of people are saying, like the black market. Even though I was talking to Ross, like people aren't growing anymore, and because I got a hold of Ross because of my new job to say, hey, am I
Yeah,
recording your personal advice? And he's like, yeah. But they weren't able to sell their store, the whole store either. They said
no,
the market
no.
just kind of dropped and they were able to sell the unit itself, but they're now piecemealing all their nutrients and lights and all the stuff
Yeah,
both.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. He mentioned that they're selling it separately, all broke down. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So yeah, it's too bad that I don't start my job till the 24th and they're in Ontario because I would.
yeah.
It's
Well,
unfortunate.
yeah. Well, what else before we get into the show? I think that's. I was thinking. Oh, Jeff Beck died.
Who?
Jeff Beck, guitar player, legendary guitar player, played with all different kinds of all different bands and played by himself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was. Yeah, yeah. He was. He died today of bacterial meningitis. Is what it
Jesus.
was. But he played
I know.
on
Like it's just.
so many different and so with so many different artists. I can just imagine the tribute concert that's going to happen. Probably I wouldn't. I'm not sure if there's gonna. It's going to happen. I believe it's one that's going to happen. But it's going to be huge and probably happen this summer. I wouldn't doubt people will get behind that.
Well, it's
And
been actually 1 year since Keith Fagan passed away too.
yes, that's right.
So a year since, and everything just seems to fly. Like it's going into year 3 that we lost Tracy, and you're like
Mhm.
12 that we
Yeah.
lost Michelle. Like, and everything. Like I said, everything this last little bit has just been. And I realize I'm getting older and I'm going to lose friends, but it's just been brutal. And then
Well,
just
that's the
brutal.
thing. Those people are getting those people that we listen to as artists, in bands and stuff, who are always like 10 years older than us. They're getting to that age,
Yeah,
and unfortunately, we all, no one's leaving this world alive, right? So, all right, just
yeah.
so you know,
Well, you know, it's funny because
Judy,
I kind of
Judy
have
says
this.
hi,
Hi, Judy.
and
Hi,
she
Judy.
says,
I kind of had
"I
this
look
weird thing
forward
happen
to
to me today because I never really believe in the afterlife and stuff like. But sometimes I get these weird, you know, sensations. And
it."
today
Mhm.
it's just been one thing after that's been going positively, like finding a bullion cube when couldn't find one before. Just stupid stuff. It's just yeah. Looking for a pastry recipe
Yeah.
and flipping through a unit. It's a United Church cookbook and found one. Guess who wrote that recipe out? My grandma.
Oh, there you go.
Weird
There
stuff.
you go, Grandma.
Check it out.
Oh, I, yeah. Okay, Tamara's gone off somewhere there. I'll just mute her mic. And I see that Judy must have made a mistake in her saying she says she's put the word positive. So she's looking forward to the positive. And she says, exactly. Thanks, Judy. Oh, what you got there? Or who you got there? Oh, I got
This
her
is the reason
muted.
why I had to run because he's rogue. That's okay.
He
But
what?
I'm rogue. He's rogue, so I'll just he got loose, so I just got to run back. That's why I came back to tell you. I'll just be 2 seconds
Oh, okay,
because
all
the
right.
kid didn't put the gate up right. So
Oh, okay.
I'll be 2 seconds.
Okay, all right. All right. Yeah, there she goes. So there she goes. Just one of her many dogs that Tamara has. And actually, tonight, during the broadcast, we're going to be talking and hearing about dogs tonight. That's one of our videos that we're going to play, our interview with Olver or if you like, Olidog, an Olidog rescue. He will be one of 5 people that will be reviewing and listening back to from our interviews throughout the year. You back?
How appropriate that I'm going to, rescue a dog.
That's right. Well, that's what I thought. Hey, this is a good segue.
To rescue dog too. Well, that's the thing. Like most of mine are rescue dogs too, and I've seen like they've got these big, beautiful dogs up for adoption right now, right? And
Yeah.
if I was closer, but yeah, I don't, and I had more room, but man, they've got some beautiful dogs.
Well, to tell you the truth, the Ollie Dog video is going to be the first one that we're going to run. Right now, I seen on Facebook that they posted some of these dogs within this clip that people are going to watch are available to be rescued. They are available to be adopted. Okay. What I did with these videos is I inserted pictures in them and just used the audio. It just makes it easier to edit than versus trying to do it with the video and take out some stuff and so on and so forth. So I just used
Well,
the
it's kind
audio.
of appropriate too, because it's Betty White's anniversary of her death, and everybody's raising money for dog rescues right
There
now.
you go.
So actually, my new job is at Top Crop Garden and Farm and Garden and Pet, right in Cranbrook. So that's where I'm going to be working. It's called Top Crops, and they're doing a big fundraiser now from the 10th to the 17th, and all the money's going to the local rescues again.
Nice.
So this is so nice. Yeah.
That's right. Works so good. Okay. So remember, as this video plays, watch the dogs, and they'll be repeated more than once. And they are available, I believe, from what I saw today. All of them, or most of them, are available for adoption. And I have the website. They're actually their website in at the end of the video. So if anybody sees a puppy, all dogs to me are puppies, and that they would like to inquire about, the website will be there available. Or you can send a message here to us in the chat, and we'll get that information to you. All right.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Here we go. First up, Oliver, Ollie Dog. At this time, I'd like to welcome and introduce our guest, who is a patient. He's a business owner, and like us, we all love dogs. So at this time, we'd like to welcome Jay Oliver to the Pace Radio Show, or as everybody else knows him, Ollie. How you doing, Ollie?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Hey,
it's great. It's different to see you together. I've been interviewed by Al, and I've been interviewed on Tamara's show, and now it's both of us together, right? So it's kind of neat. Full circle.
Right.
Right?
Well, Tamara's one of the only people I know that has more dogs than us in her house on a regular basis too, right? So and we run a nonprofit rescue. So I saw you lost one recently. I want to, put over our condolences to you on that loss too. So
Thank you.
I know how hard it is. So.
It is, and when they get older, you expect it, but definitely wasn't expecting it.
A lot of the beneficial mushrooms, turkey tail, reishi, they all have a purpose. And that's even for cannabis with dogs. That's what we're trying to do more now, is use it intentionally for what we're looking for, right? Like I spend a lot of my time now compared to consulting, because our product is a 1 to 30, which is 1 THC to 30 CBD. Now that's a starting point, because CBD really, it works on a lot of symptoms, but it's not a cure, right? Like it's going to help with the anxiety. It's going to help with the inflammation, but there's so many other beneficial natural products that you can use with that, like golden paste, turmeric, coconut oil. The dog that we have here right now, for epilepsy, severe epilepsy, has had a lot of care, was in a Toronto Humane Society program for epilepsy. And gentlemen, it's a program for people that need to get on their feet. And everyone knows there's a housing crisis right now. Was supposed to be taken care of while this gentleman got on his feet. The dog kept having severe seizures, so the foster said, we can't take care of this dog. Toronto Humane Society basically said, we can't help you with this dog. It's going to be a big bill. The seizures are crazy. We agreed to take the dog on for 3 months. We asked the gentleman, how long do you need to get on your feet? He said 2 months. I said, we'll give you 3. The dog has insurance, so we only have to pick up a small part of the bill. We'll take care of vetting. We'll get the dog switched to a raw diet, which he was interested in. And the dog was having 5 to 10 seizures a day, even at the foster. And that's how the dog ended up here. I started the dog on a regime of basically as much MCT oil as I could, on non-infused, because MCT on its own has been shown to reduce seizures in dogs quite a bit in a recent study. A low amount of CBD I've introduced and I've gradually increased. And now the dog is at a point, again, 5 to 10 seizures a day, was booked to go into Kawartha Vet Emergency Clinic to stop the seizures. It was a $6,000 estimate. To stop. So we brought the dog here because the dog wasn't seizuring. The dog, Charlie, has not had 1 seizure since she got here, and it's all been switching to the raw diet. And I mean, this dog gets spinach and mango and blueberries and sardines and eggs, and it's all, the more you get into the diet and how the toxins and the processing and the garbage and kibble, it's all amazing. Right. The crappy thing is what hasn't changed since legalization is that there's still no legal pathway to discuss these kind of things with the vet. When I go to tell the vet, they say to me, how did you get that to stop? Isn't that great? Isn't that amazing that you got this to stop? And I start talking about MCT, and MCT, not even infused MCT, and they can't even talk. They don't even want to discuss the naturals.
Not even MCT oil.
No, they didn't want to talk about it because I'm using natural supplements that they don't learn about the ECS. They don't. Well, there is now a veterinary cannabis program for vet techs. But again, if the vet that you're working for doesn't believe in it and doesn't want to learn about it, what do you do? Is a new book that was released, Cannabis Therapy and Veterinary Medicine, Complete Guide. It was released in the summer. It is written by vets, and it is my new book that I go around handing to vets and vet techs that are willing to learn and read. And this is the new go-to because it's written in a language that you or I are not even going to understand a lot of it, right? Or anyone that doesn't have experience, but it's written in a language for vets to understand how it can be used in therapy. And my biggest problem is, I'm not against pharma. I believe that pharma has a place for certain conditions, but I believe that a holistic option, if it's available, should be a choice. We're so far behind. Like all the research I'm following, it isn't Canadian. Most of the research I'm following is in Colombia, it's in Mexico, where they're using full spectrum oils on cancers. They're using it on animals for all kinds of different conditions, and they're not what we're seeing here is, especially with a lot of the multi-level marketing companies and a lot of the garbage products out there that are the isolates, they're feeding into the fear mongering of THC for animals. Fear mongering of THC for animals is worse than it was, or as bad as it was for humans. Like, because we want to sell you a product with no THC, so we're going to tell you THC is bad instead of teaching you that it's all about dosing.
Well, that's
dogs have 10 times the CB1 receptors, so that's why they're more sensitive to THC, but they can absolutely have it as medicine.
You mentioned yours has got just a little bit of THC in there, and it needs that to be in there.
Well, if you want what's called entourage, if you want the synergy of all the cannabinoids, flavonoids, and terpenes together, if you want whole plant medicine, you need all of it in there, right? Like, we have CBG, CBD, THC, CBN is all in there. That's full spectrum, right?
The dogs aren't getting
and again,
stoned.
It's a starting point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a starting point because a lot of the consulting I do, we go to a 1 to 20, 1 to 10, 1 to 1, because that's what's necessary for the condition they're trying to treat. But at least this is an intro to get them to see that, okay, yes, there's a low amount of THC in there, but look, you get to use this much instead of using an isolate product where you're giving the dog 2 droppers a day or 3 full droppers a day, and I'm giving my dog 0.2. Right? There's a big difference in dosing when you're using a good product and a crappy product, right? So
now, as far as product, let's get into that. We still got a few minutes here before we go to break.
Sure.
Let everybody know basically how you got started in all this with Olidog.
Well, originally, I guess it was like 2016. I had lost my Shepherd Wolf hybrid, who was a rescue. I'd lost him to cancer, and it kind of set me down the rabbit hole of CBD. At the time, there was all kinds of people selling different products. They were at every event you went to, CBD, and I kind of got suckered in by the gimmick. And I jumped on board with a guy after about 6 or 7 months because of my connections to rescue. He really pushed me for it. Then I connected with Hempfest. I connected with Sarah Silcox, who gave me a little bit of a lesson on what a good product should look like and what a shitty product looks like. And I took that lesson to Legacy 420. And thank goodness for them, because Paul Hornby is the one that brought me in there, Dr. Hornby. I still miss him greatly. He's been in BC for quite some time now, since before COVID. So, but I was on his coattails there for quite a while, and worked with Legacy, and thank goodness for them, because we were able to produce exactly what I asked for. And the great thing is we're a little over 2 years in. It's our anniversary, and we don't have complaints. That's one of the biggest things that I've really found, that really I feel in my heart, is that we really did our diligence when we made this. We did prototypes. We used it on dogs that the isolates didn't work. We really went to the drawing board in the beginning, and I think that it has paid off in spades for a lot of dogs, and from all the stories and the feel good moments that people have had with their dogs, especially we say buying them time, because a lot of times in the different days for these dogs that are have really bad joint issues where they need the anti-inflammatory, they get to see the dog with the lights on and not suffering, instead of being medicated on trazodone or tramadol or gabapentin or some other pharma drug. Medicam is a real popular one, where you don't really have your dog because your dog's so sedated. If you can buy your dog an extra year or 2 of living life and not suffering, well, why wouldn't you do it with something natural if you can? Because a lot of problems with the pharma that they give for these things is that you're shortening their life because of how hard it is on the organs and the kidney and the liver. And right now, even this poor dog with the seizures, where I'm getting milk thistle because I got to do a detox program, because I know with all the medications she's been on that her liver's got to be a mess.
There you go. That was part of our interview with Ollie, and the dogs, and how he's been helping the dogs. Unfortunately, I can only get 10 minutes, right? It'd be nice to be able to play the whole interview, because he really cares about his dogs. There's no doubt about that. I see.
We use it here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
use the CBD oil. Yep. I got
I
senior
see.
dogs.
I see.
So
I noticed in there. He mentioned about mushrooms for the dogs, and on the network's new show, The Mushy Moment, on Tuesday. Yeah, they talked about mushrooms for dogs as well, and there was Jay was talking about them, and I didn't catch that the first time we talked when we were talking to him. So that was interesting to see, and it was not they're not talking psilocybin mushrooms. They're talking,
yeah,
lines. Yeah, like as Judy says
lime
here.
greens and yeah.
Yeah, lemon, olive oil, turmeric.
You have
She
to be
was
really
really
careful
happy
with
with
dogs. There's
it.
a lot of stuff that they can't have either. Like they're toxic. Like dogs can't have cinnamon and nutmeg and all these there's and
Correct. Yeah.
grapes and raisins and certain things that are toxic for them. Even like tea tree.
Yep.
Like everybody says, oh, let's give your dog that's got fleas, put tea tree. You cannot put tea tree around your dog. It's toxic for them.
Ooh, yeah. You don't want to do
And a lot
that.
of people don't
You,
know that. Same with infusing this stuff in your air, like everybody's
mhm,
putting these melts and their Sensi melts and all these diffusers and stuff. Some of that stuff is super toxic to the respiratory system.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
As you can see,
that in tune,
Judy's been
you want to be
active.
careful with that too, right?
Yeah, that's right. You do. You do. You don't want to give them some
Yeah.
people give them just scraps off the table while there's things that they can't have. Make sure that whatever you're giving your dog or covering your dog in, make sure
Like cinnamon
it's safe.
or, like any Indian food or any Chinese food or anything that's got any star of anise or ginger or cinnamon. Like I said, that's toxic. I've had experiences personally with him getting into a pumpkin pie and near killed him
Well,
because they the cinnamon
yeah.
and right.
Uh, my
This was
daughter
like
has a
years
dog.
ago.
My daughter's dog loves to get into things that are just within its reach. Sort of like brownies,
They're
but they're not
sneaky
they're
little
not
buggers.
medicated. They're not medicated by they're
Andy ate
store
a
bought.
whole bag of medicated haystacks. That when you're at
Oh,
Cannabis Cup, we come back and he'd gotten
oh,
into all the extra medicated haystacks. Yep,
oh,
he puked them
oh.
all over the living room floor, and he was stoned and he slept for 2 days, but he didn't die.
No, he didn't die. No, no, no,
No,
no. He
not from the
slept.
cannabis or the chocolate, and he was slept.
It was chocolate, right? Yeah, because chocolate's not good for dogs.
Chocolate's toxic
No.
for them too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Exactly.
we
So
took him
lucky
to the vet. He
there.
puked. Let him sleep it off. He slept it off.
Yeah, I've seen it with other people. Now I also see there during the that interview, which was done. I'm thinking in the springtime with him. Um, that he mentioned Dr. Hornby, who has since passed. Dr. Hornby was involved in his product that he's given to the dogs. So obviously,
Yeah.
there's somebody educated, very well educated and known behind his. That was
Dr.
within the
Hornby's
development behind
the
his.
creator of Haley's medication,
Yeah,
right? Like Haley
yeah,
Rose, that's who created her medication was Dr. Hornsby.
yeah,
She's the only person he'd even signed a medical licensing for.
yeah. Eh?
So he's a huge loss. Huge loss.
Yes. Big
He was in
loss.
Saskatchewan
Yeah,
for a long time too, teaching, and like just huge loss. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I see it's the bottom of the hour already. We've only got one video in. We got 4 more to run, and we'll get into that after the break. And right now, you're going to hear from our sponsors. This is the Pace Radio Show's 2022 year in review, part 2, because you couldn't cover it all in one show. And we're live here on the Pace Radio Network. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Are you watching television on Roku, Fire, maybe an Apple TV or even Chromecast? If you are, then download the Boxcast app and search for CBG TV.
CBG TV broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com. You're watching the Cannabis Broadcasting Group here at cbgtv.com.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from, the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have two lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Welcome back. You're watching or listening to the Pace Radio Show's 2022 Year in Review Special Broadcast Part 2. And we're live here on the network's Facebook page, so on and so forth. Right? Well, let's see if we can get 2 videos in during this next half hour. I thought I tried to get 2 in the first half hour, but that didn't happen. But that's good. We got Olidogs done. And let's hope that somebody sees the puppy in one of those pictures and gives them a shout. So
right, or check out their Facebook page, because they've got a Facebook page too. Yeah, and they've got a couple of big dogs, like large dogs, that are looking for homes too right now. Yeah.
Now I noticed that the website didn't appear in the last photo that I had up there, and I'm just wondering whether something didn't update right when I updated that, but. Just give them a search on, input their name, Olidog Rescue, in your search engine, and you'll find them.
Yeah, they're in Ontario, right? Southern Ontario. Yeah.
They're just east of or west of me, just outside of Peterborough, this side of Peterborough. So it's the east side of Peterborough, Drummer, somewhere in there.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Next. We have got, we're going to head to Jamaica, man. That's where we're going. We're going to go down and we're going to have a conversation with Theresa Kozak and her friend Kiefer, who is a Juno Award winning, had a Juno Award winning song. So he's a Juno Award winning artist. And we're going to be talking Hotbox Cafe. A lot of people know about one in Toronto, and there is one in Jamaica as well. So,
right.
Anything you want to say before we get started?
This is like more of a B&B, right? Yeah, this is more of like a B&B. Like you go there and hang out, and so it's like a resort where you can rent a room and hang out, and I'll show you the island. Where the Hotbox in Toronto was like a cafe. Right, like where you could go and buy.
Closed.
Yeah, it's not sad.
Yeah, it's closed now. Yeah, Theresa has this one now in Jamaica, and it's been relocated. Within our interview, she talks about that or mentions that it's been relocated in Jamaica, as far as to a different place down there. So,
And they were just finishing up with a storm too, like when we got into
yes,
like when our interview too, right? So
yeah, you can tell in the recording that there is some reception issues. I tried to. This is probably the longest one it took me to edit. Was because of the effects of the storm on the show that night. So, all right, let's head to Jamaica,
right.
man, where everything is good. All right, what do you say? Time to bring our guests in.
Yes.
All right. At this
Let's.
time, yeah, because we're going to be talking hot box. We're going to be talking music, and you like to sing.
These are
You know,
fabulous guests, like fabulous guests.
that's right. So at this time, we'd like to welcome our friend and our guest, Theresa Kozak and Kiefer Scott. Welcome, Theresa and Kiefer. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you
Good.
guys?
Doing very well.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it's a
you're-
real pleasure to have you on. I haven't met you guys before, so hi.
Well, that's a good way to get
Hi.
things started out. Is not only you introduce yourself to our watchers and listeners, but even to Tamara, who doesn't really know who you are. I know lots about Theresa. I've known Theresa for several years. Actually, Theresa, for tonight, got the hoodie on. I don't know if you can read it. My hands are always backwards.
I
That
know.
can
other way.
access.
Can access. Yeah, this is the white hoodie. This is the white hoodie that you guys had made. And I got Kim Stockings to tie-dye it for me. If I left it white, I would never have worn it. It'd still be brand new in the closet.
Well, it looks really comfy, Al. It looks really cozy.
Yeah. So why don't we get started off by, instead of us going back all the way in time, let's talk about what's going on right now. And we'll find out. Yeah, because people are used to getting hot boxed. So let's talk about the hot box and
For sure.
what it is now, because just like everything else, there's always different configurations and things. They go through stages, and boy, what I've read, it sounds like a large enlargement.
Yeah, so the hot box is my Jamaica connection, I think, that's chipping out on us here.
That's right. We should let everybody know that's watching that. Yeah, you are in Jamaica. You're on the island of. That's right, exactly. And
it's an evolution for sure. I mean, as most people know, Hot Box was in Toronto and Kensington Market for decades, and part of its expansion included an Airbnb in Jamaica, and it moved from different cities. It was in Negril, it was last in Runaway Bay, and now it's moved into Ocho Rios. Hot Box is what it is, right? It's a place where you can come, you can have a full-on 420 experience.
Nice. Now, Kiefer, my understanding, you are a Juno Award-winning singer. Congratulations on that, on winning that award. Now, are you involved in the hot box in what way?
For me, I guess I'm everything. I'm part of the entertainment and part of the management team, trying to coordinate and trying to get Hot Box to where it's supposed to be. So, as well, I'm a Jamaican nationality, but also a Canadian citizen. So, grew up and live it also from Canada. We're hoping that Hot Box will do extremely well. Well, it is going to do extremely well because the name is out there and everybody, it's a household name already. So it's just more to just get it back up there.
That's right. Just so you know, I can hear you.
Traveling's back, and they've taken all the mandates and stuff off, and people are actually traveling and can go. Yes. Trust me, like there's lots of us that have never been in Jamaica that want to come. So that, and then now that the travel's back, that's really opened things up. I can't wait. This sounds so fun.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing property that it's on right now as well. Not sure if Theresa can talk about it, like the river and all these stuff.
Yeah, so the actual house itself is the Great House. So it's a big mansion that has 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, shared kitchen, living room areas. We're going to make a space where we can have an infused spa. And this mansion sits on 100 acres. And on this 100 so 100 acres of play, right? So within the property is actually the Irish. You can speak to the Jamaican history.
Okay, just so you know, you cut out there when you started to say on the Irie.
Oh, on the Irie River.
So the Irie River runs through your property.
It does, yeah. And so, like most people I've met since I've come to Jamaica, when you mention the Irie River, their first response is like, "Oh my God, that's such an amazing river! I grew up there as a kid."
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, definitely. It's one of these attractions that is already have its name. So the space itself has its name. So it's not necessarily building a brand new location. So it's already have its name. So it's an easy sell, and again, the location is secured. Again, we're on 100 acres, tons of fruit trees. The farming section as well.
So
as well as the river. It's lots of packages that we offer as well. So it's an amazing. Just come down, get high, and what my boss always say, get high and enjoy yourself.
So now I'm gonna because you talked about fruit trees and all that. I'm gonna imagine that you could probably serve meals just by going out into the yard, eh? Because it's you've got all that. Like I don't know, is there certain seasons when the fruit is ready that when it's ready you can go ahead and eat it, right?
We have so many fruit trees, and as well we don't have much ganja trees yet in the plants, but around the yard,
right?
There's always something on the property to eat. There's so many fruit trees, a lot of vegetables, and we also have our own gardening. We're planting like a pig to eat.
You can't get any fresher than fresh. You can't get any fresher than that. Taking it out of the tree or pulling it out of the ground just before you cook it.
Oh, for sure. Especially also fish as well. Remember, we're on an island, so we got fishermen. We go and purchase fish. Fresh fish that the guys are just coming off with it from the boat. So it's fresh. Everything is totally fresh.
Totally
fresh. Even the ganja is fresh.
How long has the hot box been there in Jamaica, Theresa? Because Abby had it before you, right?
Yeah, it's been around for about a decade in different sort of iterations. So it's been pretty familiar on the island.
There's those tours are available, and I believe from the information that you sent to me, Theresa, that you had something that you guys offer to take people on to ganja farms or tour someplace.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like it's a safe, comfortable place.
Exactly.
What's the closest airport? Like, is there a drive? Is there like shuttle? Like, how long does it take to get from like say into the airport to you guys?
Do tours to different waters, different bodies of water. We can take people on tours to the Bob Marley Museum. So if they want to go
on there,
yeah. So if you fly into Kingston, it's about an hour drive, but we can arrange transportation.
There you go. Where'd you go, Tamara? Tamara's off running off somewhere, and the video ends. But there you go. That was our interview with Theresa, Kozak, and Kiefer while they were in Jamaica. We're talking about the hot box. Throughout that, you can see that the hot box in Toronto was just in a building. They were in Jamaica, 100 acres. 100 acres on the island. So lots of room for them. They talk about having their own gardens there. The ability to be able to walk out into the yard and pick your fruit for the day off the trees that are in the yard, or pull it out of the ground. and stuff like that. You could hear the crickets. Hey, Chloe, another dog. You could hear the crickets in the background that were there she runs. That were in the background there because that's what you hear in Jamaica. There's lots of crickets. Anytime I've
Right.
talked to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
other-
I've never had the pleasure of leaving the country.
No, eh?
No.
You have to go down there sometime. The
That would entail having a passport.
they've got a river now. What I did with these videos, obviously I've got pictures in them, but what I did was I had to creep some people's walls because we get like 4 pictures is what I asked for, up to 4 pictures to do an announcement. So we get 3 to 4 pictures from each of our guests, but 3 to 4 pictures over a 10-minute video thing is the same picture all the time. So I went on looking on people's walls and grabbed some photos, just like I went to the Hotbox Facebook page and grabbed some pictures from there. Like sitting back there in that big blowing up water toy floating down the river, down the Ari River. Yeah.
Well, that looks like a lot of fun, right? Like all that stuff looks like, and like she kept mentioning a safe space, because I think that's something that really is deterring a lot of people from travel. It's not even like it's not.
Well, look what's
COVID,
going on in Mexico
it's
right
the
now.
cartels and the safety. Well, that's what I mean. Like it's safety, right? And Jamaica isn't any different. I mean, it is, but it's not. I mean, they still have those kind of things going on down in Jamaica too. All the poor countries do. All of them. People that are living in poverty. That's their reality, and it's unfortunate.
All right, on to our next guest that we want to run some video for from this year, who we had on, and this is from Cody Van Gogh, who appeared on our show. I'm going to say probably sometime during July. It was after I met Cody at the Kind Summer Fair that we had him on as a guest. Cody is a joint artist. You got glass artists for bong blowing and pipes. Cody is a joint artist. What he does,
full size anime, like full size anime characters, like that's what those are. Is full size anime characters, like incredible work.
It is. I couldn't believe it. I was just wowed by what he did. And when I went looking for pictures to do this video, I got wowed again because I was able to see even more that I had seen previously. So I've taken those pictures and they are included in this video of the joints that this guy rolls. Like, this is just incredible.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it on the other side. It is.
Pretty terrific guest tonight, but by the sounds of it's pretty talented by the looks of what he's got going on. So maybe we should bring him in and let her.
I'm really excited by this because I'm a joint smoker.
Yeah, and I know you like these funny little creations, and it's artistic. It takes time and effort, and
it's awesome work that he does. So let's just do that. So let's introduce our guest.
Yeah,
the guy who I say he's a joint artist. He's a joint rolling artist. Like you got glass artists, all that stuff. This is a joint artist, and a person who can roll anything that you're requesting to do. I'm pretty sure he could. So we'd like to welcome Cody Van Gogh to the Pace Radio Show. Welcome, Cody. Hello. How you doing, guy?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm just about to spark this joint with you guys, so
I'd
wait for the fireworks. Okay, sorry, it's my favorite trick. I'll open up with it. Hi, I'm Cody Van Gogh. I do creative rolling for the last 7 years or so. So I roll joints that look like cute little things and.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna move. Sorry, watchers. I'm moving Cody up into that screen there, so I can enlarge him when he shows us like that bear. Look at that.
This is Buddy, my mascot.
I'm gonna. Looks like you would use the one leg as your filter,
Yep.
And where do you light that?
So you light them at the head and arms, and you kind of want to just gauge it. I guess it's easier to explain on a more complicated piece. You just want to gauge it so that they all kind of are going to meet up in the center at the same time. Mm-hmm. So you would light the head at first, the arms not too long after, but then you'd wait for something like the back leg before you lit that one, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, so you just kind of like you puff a little bit on one and you puff a little bit. So you just kind of keep moving him around so that he like burns evenly. See, there's tricks.
Yeah,
do these come with instructions?
They do. I actually have one on the go in kind of like a similar style. He's going to be dressed up differently, but then you can see like the sticks that are going through them is to create passages for airflow. So that's how you know that they're going to smoke, is that I'm actually creating a passage similar to a pipe for the smoke to travel through. They're all smokable.
So that looks like quite a big. Like if that was like, that's going to be a much, like the one you just showed us you're building right now. That's going to be a much bigger bear versus what you have.
Yeah, so I'm headed back to Toronto next month for Karma Cup. So we're gonna have to share him with many people. So he's so like drop by Karma Cup and we'll get to smoke the finished product together. I just started rolling him on stream. I roll all my joints live now, so I just started rolling.
Do you really?
On stream. Yeah, Twitch TV.
So where can people watch you roll? Like I read an article on what you did that was in the Ottawa newspaper.
Yep.
Sure which Ottawa Citizen. And like there was one they were talking about your 30 hours rolling. Yeah, Tamara, 30 hours to roll.
What a few. Depending, I'm trying to remember what I've spent 30 hours on probably more than one piece, but I feel like depending on when I rolled that, I've probably gotten better since then and could maybe do it faster. So the longest I think I've ever spent on a piece was 80 hours, and that was also my largest piece at 18 ounces. And I feel like that's the right amount of time to spend on a piece that's 18 ounces.
What was it?
It was a giant Godzilla. It was for Budzilla Dispensary out in Vancouver. This is a legacy dispensary. And what had happened is they had been around for years and years. And over time, accidents happen, buds fall on the floor. They were collecting them all into a bag and not knowing what to do with them because you don't want to sell floor bud or whatever. And I got there and I was just like, I know what we can do with those. Like, and we could just make a nice big display piece for people to see when they come in, kind of thing. And it'll be like a huge epic joint, and it'll bring people into the store. It'll be an attraction, right? And so that's what we did. And we had like 18 ounces of just like random buds that had been saved up over time. And I was in there every 8 hours a day every day for about 10 days, just rolling it, and it was a lot of fun. And it came out to be like a huge, I can't even fit my hands on the screen, but it was like a huge piece. And it was so that was about 80 hours. That was the longest I've ever spent rolling.
Now what happened?
That's crazy.
Like, did anybody try to smoke it, or like, is this thing still alive in someone's closet somewhere?
No, I believe it's still alive. Funny story. Like I mentioned, it was a legacy dispensary, right? So this dispensary survived 2 raids from the VPD that I know about, and it's been a while since I've seen those guys. I moved back to Ottawa recently, so I haven't been in touch.
I don't think Reg is in business. I think they actually got charged. They got charged. From the last thing I heard, honestly, is they were charged and they were losing everything.
Okay.
And that's rumorville, but it's kind of like a few of them that proceeds of crime, and they were proven that everything was bought with proceeds of crime, which meant houses, vehicles, everything gone.
Oh no!
So it didn't. Let's hope it didn't end life in an incinerator somewhere.
Yeah. But the joint itself survived two raids because the police didn't know what it was. So like they didn't even acknowledge it. They just walked right by it. They took everything else, and they told me that they were really tempted to smoke it after the police left because they left with everything else, but they kept it. They didn't smoke it, and that happened at least twice that I heard about. But I think they got into some trouble, so I'm not sure where it is now.
Yeah.
I have multiple joints in police custody. It's one of the reasons I went to BC in the first place was because I lost count of how many joints the Toronto police had, especially after Project Claudia, Project all that. Because that used to be my whole gig. These days I work at a head shop, and I'm like trying to just grow more like a crowdfunded type thing through the Twitch and the Instagram, and my merch. Check it. You can buy my merch. So these days I'm trying to do more of a crowdfunded thing because I can't just go drop these things off at dispensaries, that kind of stuff anymore. I would like to get nude blunts on the legal market one day. So I'm
I was wondering about that. Could you? Is there any way that you could transition into the legal market? Like you can. I'm assuming like people could give you up to 30 grams of cannabis and you could roll them whenever they wanted. I
can still work off commission. That's no problem. But I would like to transition into like having something on the legal market because it's really tough to get your name out there when you can't just kind of like post stuff in dispensaries anymore. There's a few things like there's laws about packaging being appealing to kids, that kind of stuff.
I'm wondering if Cody could get a processing license and he would actually get his cannabis. You could buy his cannabis, and his process would be these specialty joints for the company.
That's what I've been looking into recently. And the big issue, really, it's not so much with getting the license as it is that, like, when I was doing, like, I used to have a pre-roll company for the legacy market called Nude Blunts, which were, like, 3-gram paperless joints. And I could get done 2 boxes of those in a day, which is about 48 units. Like, because it was just me by myself doing it by hand kind of thing. Trying to get the OCS to buy less than 2,500 units of something is very, very difficult. And that's where I would run into trouble, is that I physically cannot produce enough for all the dispensaries in Ontario, let alone other provinces. And it was cool when I could just like drop it off to 1 or 2 bougie dispensaries where people are going to pay a little bit more money for the better product kind of thing. But now that everybody's buying off the same plug, like the OCS, it's a bit trickier. I can't just pick out where I want it to go.
There you go. Our interview with Cody Van Gogh, the joint artist. You can see in the pictures there all the different kinds of joints you could roll. And then we were talking about some of the joints that he's rolled. Let's see.
Yeah, it's really too bad that the government's like still wanting so many units, and so the smoke I can't do.
Because that's why for him to transition into the legal market, it'd be quite the thing for him to be able to sell those in a legal market, but there are minimum requirements and so on and so forth. And part of the interview, he maybe not mentioned there, but within the rest of it, he talked about his paper selection too, and the type of quality of papers that he likes to use, and the countries, the origins, and stuff like that are also important to him. He mentioned 30 hours to roll a joint. Like, oh my God. That's a long joint. 18 ounces.
Just rolling that joint, when rolling another joint so you can smoke it while he's rolling that joint, and then rolling another joint to smoke that. Like,
that's right. It was interesting to see that he puts a tube in them in order for a passage help the smoke hole on.
He calls that a
As
plumber.
well.
Remember?
Yes.
The plumber joint.
Yes. And then there
So
was
if you put that stick in between when you roll your joints will smoke better, he says.
smoke. Yeah. Yeah. Talked about the
I cannot
raids.
figure out how to roll a stick in my joint.
I
I tried
know,
it.
eh?
Cannot roll a
Has
stick
to,
in the middle of my joint. So what the
well, it has to be able to burn. I don't. Yeah. What else? Oh, and you can
I
watch
still
him
cannot
roll
figure
his
out how to
joint.
roll
Yeah. You can watch him roll his joints on Twitch. So anybody wants to see how he does these things, check out Cody Van
You can
Gogh
Google it
on
on
Twitch.
Twitch. Or when you search plumber joint, it'll come up. It'll show you. It's like
Yeah. Wow. All right. Let's move on to our next guest. It's break time, but I'm going to move that back 10 minutes because we got 10 minutes. We're going to run a little long tonight, but I got to watch our time because we got the late night sesh following us with Reese Turner on the CBG TV network.
Sure.
They come at 10. So,
right on.
all right. We're going to move on to our next guest that we had, another guest we had this year. And that was Gerald. Come on, help me out here.
Kaczmarek.
What?
Kaczmarek.
Kaczmarek, right.
Kaczmarek from New Orleans, USA. You betcha. He's my friend from New Orleans. You bet.
Yes. Yeah. And he's a retired police officer from there, right? And he's involved in the cannabis community down there as well.
Yep.
And he's going to talk a bit about his story and a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
As well. All righty. Here we go. Here's Gerald. So what do you say? Time to bring in our guest?
Yes, let's do that.
All right. Do you want to introduce him or you want me to do it?
You go ahead.
All right. At this time, I'd like to introduce our guest. It just happens to be a person who's going to tell us our story, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of different things throughout the program. He hasn't been a guest here on the Pace Radio Show, but he has been a guest in the past on coffee and cannabis and coffee with to marijuana. So we'd like to welcome Jerry Kaczmarek to the Pace Radio Show. Welcome, Jerry. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I thank y'all. I'm doing good, nice and medicated.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear. And you're allowed to medicate during the show. Do it as often as you can.
Absolutely. Well, I went ahead and I just ate a half of a 50 milligram edible. Delicious. About 45 minutes ago, and just got done hitting my pipe, so I'm ready for the show. So how y'all doing?
Great.
Doing good.
Yeah, we've had some, like, I know here anyways, we're just finishing up some really nice weather. We've had for like 5 days, but that's going to come to an end. And so, but other than that, we're watching the grass grow and not the roots. That's always a good sign.
Well, if you want me to go ahead and give you a little bit of a backstory, I know I've been on, coffee and cannabis with Tamara.
Sure.
But this is the first time. Yeah, so I'm actually the New Orleans Canada connection. I wanted to thank y'all again for having me on. And so I was born and raised in New Orleans, joined a police department from 94 to 01. I had some injuries. I received a medical disability. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries. I've got a lower disc in my back that's bulging. And I got hooked on a bunch of opioids and was a complete mess, alcoholic, went through Katrina, subsequently moved to Colorado in September of 07. And I lived there for almost a decade, voted on Amendment 64 and watched an idea blossom into a revolutionary movement. And that's what I tell a lot of people. So I was hooked on probably I've taken numerous pills, antidepressants. I've been institutionalized on a 5-week outpatient basis. And my marriage of 24 years and 4 months was over with. I haven't spoken to our son, Jack, since June 7, 2016. He's turning 22 November 1. And so I walked into Maggie's Farm, which is a recreational dispensary, and I got cleaned up. And I cleaned my act up. I kicked OxyContin, Percocet. I was on Darvocet at one time, MS Contin, Vicodin. I mean, you name it. Trilipitol, Cymbalta, kicked all of those pills and came back to New Orleans in January of 2017. And I just made 6 years clean this past July.
Congratulations. That's terrific.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes,
And
for sure. Holy smokes, man.
And
That's a hell of a
thank
lift.
you
Have
all.
to-
And then May of 2018, I decided to kick alcohol. So I just made my 4-year anniversary in May as well. So, you know, I kicked alcohol, pills, Coke, you name it, off of a plant. And I'm glad when I was on a department, it's like I tell a lot of people, I've never bought into the war on drugs BS when I was on a department and this and that. And I'm not just saying it because, you know, we're having a conversation and other people are watching, but it's the truth. And it
So
was a waste
it wasn't
of time
a situation
when I was
where
on the department.
it wasn't a situation where you're anti-cannabis and all that and discovered it after, you know, dealing with these issues. It was something that you obviously supported, beforehand. As you said, you know, it was BS, the war on drugs.
Sure. So, I mean, if anything, it's in my police jacket, you know, that I smoked weed, you know, in high school and all of that. Went to rock concerts and, you know, was being a kid, a teenager.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and that's why, like I said, I was around it, I smoked it, and to me, it was nothing but a waste of time. And you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Alcohol is the worst drug, in my opinion. Alcohol.
Oh, yes.
And tobacco.
Yes.
And I smoke cigarettes, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was a British study back then, done about 15 years ago that Dr. McNutt was involved in that said that with all the collateral damage and everything combined, alcohol is society's worst drug.
Oh, yeah.
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 Well, but I mean, here's the other thing too, is that I meant to throw in, but also contemplation of suicide on 3 separate occasions. I smoked, and those suicidal ideologies went away. You know.
Yeah. People like yourselves. People like yourself is a person that throws all that fear or thought that cannabis leads people to hard drugs. So many people, and you're also proof that cannabis can help people get off of opiate drugs as well. And
sure.
You know, and the more people that can do that, the better off people will be.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for certain.
Go ahead, Tamara. I'm sorry.
No, it's the truth though, because I was in the same position too at one point in my life, and if it wasn't for cannabis, in 2005, that's all I did. I smoked weed. I just got off everything and smoked weed, and that's all that mattered. Like that's what helped, and I didn't have to do any, you know, other, you know, methadone or Suboxones or anything like that, like that they give now, right? And high, you know, doses of edibles. They're proving on the downtown east side that helps people with the withdrawal from opioids. So if the government would just see that we would need higher dose of medication up here in Canada, I don't know what you know your levels are in the States, because I know that in Denver and some different states, your edible milligrams for your stores aren't the same as ours are.
Oh no, they're much higher.
Right?
Much higher.
Or in Canada, it's 10 milligrams for a whole package. So if you got 6 pieces in a package, that those 6 pieces have to equal 10 milligrams. So you're getting absolutely nothing.
5 pieces at 2 milligrams. So what are the laws like in your state down there when it comes to cannabis? Is there both medical and recreational? Is there just a medical end of things?
Well, you know what it is? I mean, that's really one of the disappointing things about down here is when I came here, and I'm open-minded, as you know. I mean, so far since we talked. So when I went ahead and I got back, and, you know, more or less a light bulb went off, and I was thinking, you know what? I'm sensible. You know what? I voted on Amendment 64 in Colorado. They could do that down here. But this is what a lot of people need to realize. And this is really where I've reached a conclusion. The reasoning why there's medical here, it's overregulated. There probably will never be any type of recreational or home grow. There might be recreational. However, it's religion. Religion here controls so much in the South. Do you know that they've only got, they call them pharmacies here. There's 9 pharmacies in the state of Louisiana. They're getting ready to award 1 more license, but 9 dispensaries for 4.5 million people. I mean, I think that's ridiculous. And there's a monopoly too, because there's only 2 main growers. And
that's what I was going to ask you. Like, when it comes to growing, you've only got nine stores. Like, where's the supply coming from?
From Southern and LSU, the 2 universities here in Louisiana.
Oh.
Yeah, they're in the game.
But it's only tinctures and that's available too. Like, you can't buy. Can you buy raw bud? Are you allowed to smoke it, or is it just in tincture form?
No, believe it or not. Well, that's the other thing too. That's the reason why, like myself, I know it's a ripoff, because, and you'll probably fall out your chairs, but it's a crying shame, the greed that comes in here, plus the monopoly. Do you know a eighth of weed here, a flower, is between $55 and $80?
What?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, we're buying ounces up here for that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's on the legal market.
And that's
like in stores, in the legal market. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah. You can buy ounces for really, like, a pound of cannabis up here is worth next to nothing anymore.
There you go. Our interview with Gerald Kaczmarek. Come on, Tamara, help me here.
Kaczmarek.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. The character. That's for sure. But you know, and again, like, it's the same shit, different pile.
Yeah. Nothing, well, you know, he's like many other people. He's a proof that cannabis can help people who have issues when it comes to, you know, medications. He
They're more and more down there. They're legalizing.
Yeah.
Like, there's very few states down there that don't have some form of medical or some form of recreational. 90% of them are. There are the couple like Arkansas that, you know, will throw you in jail still. But it's getting more and more traction.
They had a medical system there where they had 9 stores and they had 2 suppliers which were connected to the universities. That were the suppliers for these 9 stores.
Yeah.
But I liked the way he, you know, he went from dealing with all those pills. Like, holy smokes, he rhymed off a whole list of different things there that he was on, and then turns around and uses cannabis to deal with it, and alcohol as well. It's like to use the cannabis.
And a lot of people do that. Yeah.
Like, because he's
well, really, like, you don't feel like you need to drink. Like, I mean, I don't drink. You don't drink that much, or I don't think you drink either. I don't drink that much.
I don't drink. I wasn't a big drinker before. Like, you know, I had to stop drinking because of my Crohn's, but I wasn't a big drinker anyway, so it was really easy for me just to, you know.
Yeah.
See you later.
Me too. Like, but I was like, I drank like not a lot, but I mean, I, you know, like to drink every, you know. Now I just don't even care. It's just like,
don't even care. That's right.
No.
All right, we better go to break so we don't run out of time. As before, you can hear from our sponsors, the Pace Radio Show's 2022 year in review, part 2, because we can't do it all in one. We're live here on the Pace Radio Network.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partners 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Pace Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
CBG TV broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Hey, welcome back. You're watching or listening to the Pace Radio Show's 2022 Part 2 Year in Review. Well, Tamara, I've got one more lined up for us. And it'll go beyond the regular show time by the time we get finished, but we'll be off before the next program gets live on the air. All right.
All right.
This last one is with Ross Middleton. We actually, when Ross was on, we went 2 hours, and we could have gone a lot longer, but we had time restraints. You had to go. So it worked out, we talked a lot about a lot of stuff, and it was to deal with it this time. Within here, I've got our discussion on the question, Cannabis Act Review 5.2. And he was an intervener in that. So he mentions that during there. We had him on the special presentation that we did here on the network and on KGL TV, where we had the panel, and he was on that, and he was very passionate about the patients and the cannabis and getting the access and the gardens, how they had to be there and the whole bit.
Ross and Deb have always been huge advocates, and that was our thing with Canadian Therapeutic Cannabis Partners Society when it was started.
Yes.
It was started by somebody prior to us even being involved, and it just kind of I don't even know how, it's long time ago, but I mean it was always about access and affordability for patients, always first and foremost. That was always the mandate.
And I know that CTCP was also active in submitting forms and stuff to the government when it come to input, when they're requesting it from people.
Absolutely. We both did legalization roundtables, him in Ontario. I went out to the one in Vancouver, British Columbia,
Mm.
to put our voices forward too, because we're registered non-for-profit. We teamed up with Mom Maritime Representative for Medical Marijuana and MCPA, which was Medical Patients Association, with Lori McCluckin and another, I can't remember who, Cheryl T. Rose from the Haley Rose Foundation. And we wrote a proposal that was sent to Health Canada when the APMPR was put together. And Ross actually wrote that with the help of the rest of us. So Ross is amazing.
Yeah. All right. Here's our interview that we had with Ross Middleton. Recently we had Pat Warnick on. We talked to him about the case.
Absolutely,
he couldn't say a lot then. Now there has been some documentation that's been released. So I'm not sure where it's actually sitting at right now, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to Ross Middleton of CTCP, Canadian Therapeutic Cannabis Partners, and Ross was with CTP, was an intervener in there. So why don't we talk to Ross about what's going on, and let's introduce him. G'day, Ross.
Absolutely.
G'day, Ross. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. You were just before we went live. You were telling us about some major. You guys got a bunch of snow down there.
We did. Yes. It's funny because Al lives in Campbellford, right, or in that area, north of Campbellford, right? Yeah.
Havelock.
And Belleville would be kind of like equally distanced to the east, right?
Yeah.
And we're in Frankfurt in the middle. So you're talking about maybe a half-hour drive from your place to Belleville, right?
Yeah, 45 minutes, yeah.
And so we're right in the middle. And we got 2 feet of snow. Just like off the lake. The streamer came off Lake Ontario. It was just this little river of snow. And we got 2 feet of snow. And you guys got 4 or 6 inches. I got 4 or 6 inches.
I don't know. Our snow's almost gone. I see grass. I see the grass coming out of our snow.
The snow is sliding off of my roof, my metal roof. and it's this thick. It's like that thick. And it's coming over the edge like a glacier. I never seen anything like it. It was just crazy. It was insane. A good thing I got a snowblower. It's a big one.
Good, right? Good. All right. Well, let's get into this case that has been going on here. Like I said before, we brought you in. We had Pat Warnick on the program. Afterwards, after the decision was sort of announced, but there was still a publication ban on it. Recently, there's been it's been printed out in Canley or whatever, I can't pronounce it properly, about the decision. And you're an intervener on things, so want to fill us in as far as where things maybe are, whether you want to go through this decision in paper or how you got involved and why you got involved. Let's start with that first. How and why you got involved.
Okay. How I got involved was having a relationship with Paul Lewin, who's a very good lawyer and was Jerry Martin's lawyer in this particular case. Knowing that I've done other affidavits for Paul and for Jack Lloyd too. In other cases, some of them were used, some of them were not. In this case, there was a valid affidavit filed by myself, basically telling about my experiences with cannabis and how it affects this case and some of the things that I'm missing in my needs as far as a medical user, right? I did ask Paul if he would come and join us tonight. But unfortunately, he says that regardless of the fact that Canley has actually published the actual ruling, and there's been an article in a paper out in Saskatchewan, I guess it was Saskatchewan, that talked about the case, there is still a publication ban in place. So Paul says he wanted to come on, but as he is, you can't get any closer to this case than he is. Out of an abundance of caution, he's going to continue to respect this publication ban. So he's just he won't talk about it, and that's why he bowed out for tonight.
Yeah, and I completely respect that. That's.
But you know, being part of the case, I was there for all the testimony. Okay, I was on Zoom through the whole thing. I saw the whole case start to finish, every witness, every statement, everything that was done. An amazing job by Paul. Okay, and not just Paul. Paul was Jerry Martin's lawyer. And oh, by the way, the case, you know, we talk about the Allard decision and we talk about the Smith decision. This one's going to be known as the Seaman decision because it's R.V. Seaman et al. Okay, so included in that is Jerry Martin, and Jerry Martin is that's who Paul was representing, was Jerry Martin, and let me see, the other lawyer was Mark Berg. Mark Berg was the lawyer for Seaman and Warnicki. So as a team, they approached this case together, and they coordinated their efforts, took turns representing their defendants, and they did an excellent job. I've got to say, they really did do an excellent job. So I'm just going to go through the ruling, and I'm just going to mention this is called a case that's between the defendants and His Majesty the King. So we've been used to our rulings being so-and-so versus HMTQ, Her Majesty the Queen. And of course, with the passing of the Queen and the appointing of a king, now it's His Majesty the King. So I just thought that was kind of a novel thing. It is. Yeah, and between the defendants and the judge in this case, we talk about Phelan, we talk about.
So is it now the Court of King's Bench?
It is the Court of King's Bench. Yes, that's it.
That sounds so weird.
I know it does, doesn't it? Anyway, Judge Klatt is the judge. Okay, so that would be your equivalent to Justice Phelan. So Justice Klatt basically did a summary of the entire decision. There are 165 paragraphs. We're not going to go through all of them, but I think that it's a good idea to kind of skim through them and kind of stop on the ones that matter, because they don't all matter. Okay. Oh, well, they all matter, but some are more specifically oriented to an outcome than some of the other paragraphs.
Right.
The oral decision for the following reasons. So they first start off with talking about the regulations, the ACMPR, and the three accused operated a storefront cannabis dispensary outside of the regulatory scheme. So that's where it starts off as to why are they there, what happened.
Yeah, it's paragraph 3.
Paragraph 3, and so basically, you're going to find that they mention licensed producers a lot, and of course that should concern us all.
I see Pat was charged with trafficking in CBD.
Yes, that's right.
You don't hear that. You don't hear that very often, do you?
No, and yes, and that is exactly it. And CBD, we all know what CBD is. It is one of the most medicinal ingredients in cannabis. So harmless that it actually heals. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And yet it's illegal. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that was in paragraph 5.
Yes, it is. It is. And I go to my local Foodland grocery store to get my bottle of Jose Cuervo. Just throwing that out there. But anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
It's medicinal, don't you know?
So these guys were operating dispensaries outside of the regulatory stream of the ACMPR. They weren't licensed under any regulations, but they did it anyway as a form of protest, I guess. And I think the judge understood that, because she understood that access to medical cannabis is very important, and that in-person access is lacking. So They went through the actual charges against all of the defendants in 6, 7, 8. They talked a bit about the hemp regulations in 8 because this did have to do with CBD, and you can have hemp with very high amounts of CBD, but you can't have any THC, right? So that's what hemp is. So you can't. CBD is accessible through the hemp regulations, but you cannot use hemp flowers to make any.
Number 7. There you go. That's the beginning part of our interview with Ross Middleton.
That was a long interview.
It was.
Because that was a long ruling, and he went through that whole ruling.
That's right. So obviously, there's no way I was going to be able to squeeze that whole ruling into tonight's little segment. So anybody wants to hear his opinion on it and the things throughout the ruling, head over to paceradioshow.com and you'll see Ross's name. Just click on it and it'll take you right to that video and you'll be able to watch it and go through that whole case. That was the case, as he said, will be known as the Sea Moon case, just like, Parker or Smith along that line. That was the one that Pat Warnocky was involved in as well. He was charged. You see, he was charged with trafficking in CBD. Like, people would just be like, what the fuck? What do you mean? It's illegal?
Well,
a lot of people don't realize it's against the law.
To use the flower, you're only allowed to use the seed. You're only allowed to use the seed and the fiber from it. You're not allowed to make CBD oil because then you're producing and the flower, right? So that means that you're then producing the flower because you don't squeeze the hemp seeds and get the oil.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I know. Yeah. Some people seem to think that because they call it a CBD hand cream, and then you flip it over and you read the label on the back, and it says hemp.
The reason why they were charged, right? Exactly. But the reason why he was charged with CBD is because there's that just touches of trace of THC in it because it's cannabis and not hemp. Right. So it'd be like a Haley's Comet or something like a, CBD barb or something that was really high strain. And then they make isolate with it.
Let's see what else. Did you notice the pictures of Ross? The majority of them, he was surrounded by these massive plants.
Well, they owned BMA hydroponics for 2 decades.
20, yeah, that's right. Just a little more than 20 years. They own
and now they're retiring.
Yeah,
they
retired.
They lost the business, and they're retiring. They put the place up for sale. They're retiring. They're moving to Nova Scotia. They're off into the sunset.
Yeah, I went to when I was doing the video, just out of curiosity, I went to their website, and it doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. So, they've retired.
Yeah, I was just texting, whatever messaging we can.
Yeah, somebody said to me recently, "Oh, I noticed BMA's not sponsoring you anymore," and I said, "Oh, they retired. They headed east. They're gone." They I don't know, Gail. Gail just asked me. No, they haven't. No, they haven't.
No, I don't think they've moved yet. I think they're still trying to get themselves organized.
That's what Gail had just asked me, is if they had moved yet. And I was talking to Deb before Christmas, and she said that no, they haven't moved yet. It'll still be a little while before they move. So I told them that before they go, I gotta have a girl.
Messaging with Ross yesterday, actually. Yeah, I was messaging with Ross yesterday. I was messaging with Ross yesterday, and they, like I said, so they're still at home. Yeah, they're still in Ontario, but they're like trying to sell stuff. They sold the unit. Now they're trying to get rid of their inventory and get their loose ends tied up so they can move east. Yeah.
Good. Well, I told them that before they moved because they were some of the first people that I ever had a grow up tournament with, and so I told them we had to have a game before they headed east, and they're into that. So when I did my recent Facebook picture review of this joint, I said that it would be very good to have at a party, anywhere from 4 to 6 people per joint. And yeah, I think if I have a grow up tournament, I'm gonna have to have a couple of these on hand in order to pass around.
What do they cost out there? What's the cost of them?
Well, each store location will be different because they're independent to what they can do. But they don't have a lot of playroom. The OCS website has it listed at one price, and my guy said he'll do better than that, and he did. I did better by $4, so he saved me 10%. Yeah, $4 saved me 10%. So yeah, it was $37. 38. I just got corrected.
For one joint.
For one joint.
I guess that's 8 grams. That's not too bad. Yeah, but that would be like more than
it's equivalent.
Like because a quarter is 7.5 grams.
Yeah,
or
it's
7
equivalent
grams.
it's equivalent to 8 grams. It's 2 grams of cannabis, and there's diamonds in there, and I turned off my other monitor. There's diamonds in there as well as Kif is in there as well. And it's equivalent.
So that'd be 30 what,
grand.
$40 for a quarter, because that a quarter is 7, right?
Yeah,
that's not too
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
That's not bad at all.
And it comes to you as it being already rolled and ready to go. I'm gonna say it's probably a 20-minute joint.
That'd be a week joint for me by myself. Put it out.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said to you at the beginning of the show. If you have one, you're gonna have to make sure that you don't smoke it alone. Because
Take me a week to smoke it.
Yeah, well, it will. It will take you a week to smoke it. That's the thing. It's I actually I have the I didn't smoke all of mine. I was with another person, and they were done, and I thought, well, I could smoke this other half of this joint, or I can that screen won't move for me, or I can put it out and smoke it later. So that's what I did. I kept it.
I would have too.
I didn't smoke.
I would have put it in the back of the container and brought it home.
My roach.
Woohoo!
Here's my roach.
That looks like a big, huge, fat joint still. Full joint.
Yeah, it's pretty close to regular size.
Yeah, I doubt he's rolling them by hand himself though.
No. Well, as we heard from Cody, like he just can't do it. No, they'll be machine rolled for sure. There's no doubt about that. So
of course they have.
And the cannabis is
Remos. It's Remos, but it's not Remos. No, Remos not rolling them. What's that?
Yeah, it's from Remo Farms, and he it's grown with his nutrients, is what I understand. So, alrighty. Well, anything else? We gotta watch our time there. We should say goodbye to everybody. Wrap things up.
You betcha. So
anything else you want to say? What's that?
So we can get the other show on that comes on at 10. Reese Turner.
Yes. Reese Turner comes on CBG TV. They'll be doing the late night sesh. I haven't got a clue what the topic is tonight or anything like that. I just try to remember that they come on after us and we have to be done in time, right? So
all right.
Otherwise, I could just imagine. We had him on the show in 2021, and I'll tell you, I laughed all the way through the broadcast, and I have never laughed so much during the show. And I could just imagine that they would probably, if they were on and I delayed their broadcast, they'd be reaming me out for it and making sure that I was well aware.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right.
Let's
not do that to you.
No. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Let everybody else go. Thanks go out to our sponsors, the friendly and helpful folks at legacy420.com. To the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Thanks to them too. Check them out if you're in the Campbellford area. Also, big thanks to you, Tamara, for being there for the last year, and look forward to the next year. See
Absolutely.
what guests come along. See what we can have next year. This time, maybe we'll have to do a whole January of year in review. If you get a, you just never know. We might have to see what happens. Other than that, thanks to everybody else for tuning into the broadcast. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.